Good morning, students, and welcome to the class of English. Today, I, Pankaj Singh Thapa, PGT English, is in front of you with a new video for a very marvelous and funny poem, that is The Tale of Melon City. And if we talk about the poet of the poem, it's Vikram Sheth. He is an Indian poet and a very notable person. He was born on June 20th June 1952. He is an Indian novelist and poet. He has written several novels and poetry books. He has received several awards such as Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy, Pravasi Bharati Samman, W.H. Smith Literary Award and Crossword Book Award. Sheth's collection of poetry, such as Mappings and Beastly Tales, are notable contributions to the Indian English language and poetry canon. As you can see in the picture, he is Vikram Sheth, a very renowned person in the field of literature. Again, born 20th June 1952 in Kolkata, West Bengal, India, novelist and poet. He studied at Corpus Christi College, Oxford and Stanford University. His genres are novels, poetry, libretto, travel writings, children's literature, biography, memoir. His notable works are A Suitable Boy, The Golden Gate, Unequal Music. Notable awards: Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy Award, Stegner Fellowship, Guggenheim Fellowship, Commonwealth Writers Prize. Children, today will be going to study about one of the poem written by Vikram Sheth, and the poem's name is The Tale of Melon City. Children, as you can well read the title of the poem, and I think it tells that it's a very humorous and funny poem. So, children, the poem, The Tale of the Melon City, it narrates how the city found its new king, a melon. Have you ever imagined, children, that Melon is the new king of a city? But this story has one king named Melon. The story unfolds as their king orders to have an arch built. But unfortunately, it turned out to be too low. And when king was passing by and under that arch, it hit the king's head, resulting in the falling off of his crown. The king considers it's a disgrace, disrespect, and he orders for the chief of builders to be hanged. It is then followed by a series of events where they blame each other. Finally, a noose is built. Noose means a rope and a platform where the hanging takes place. That noose was built to determine the guilty and the person who will fit the noose will be hanged. And this was a decision of just and placid king. Let me explain to you children the meaning of placid. Placid means calm. The new king is then elected by the first person to pass under that city gate. So the poem begins with a description about the king who ordered an arch to be built to magnify his greatness. But when he wrote down that arch, it hit his head and his crown fell down. It was because it was built too low. The king thought it was dishonorable, and thus he commanded the chief of the builders to be hanged. Now, children, here starts the series of passing on the blaming. Like a game is there passing on the pillow, here the same thing was there, passing on the blame. So first the blame was on the chief of builders and he was to be hanged. The chief of builders put the blame on the workmen who in turn blamed the bricks. So the king orders for the execution of the mason who put the blame on the architect. The architect is brought to the royal court and he indirectly blames the king for the wrongly constructed arch, as he says that, sir, it was your order to build it like it. The placid king now grows angry and demands for the wisest man in the country to be brought to the royal court. They brought the wisest man, who was so old that he could neither see nor walk. See the condition of the wisest man. That's why it's a very funny poem. According to him, the arch must be hanged. See, who is to be hanged? Not any person, but the arch. When the arch is supposed to be executed, one of the ministers argues that it would be a shame to punish something that had touched the king's mighty head or mighty king's head. And everyone along with the king agreed that no, arch has touched the king's crown, so he is a pure thing. Now it cannot be hanged. The crowd grew restless and the king promised them a hanging. King said, definitely someone would be hanged. Therefore a noose was set up and the one to fit it would be hanged. All were measured one by one. But do you know at last who fit the noose? It was the king only. Now the ministers heaved a sigh of relief upon finding someone to execute. Thus, as a result of the customary choice, the next to pass the city gate would choose a new king and the next to pass it was an idiot. So after the hanging of the king, they were in a dilemma. Who to choose as a king? The citizens. So what did they decide? That the next person who will pass the city gate will choose the king. But in fact, the next person unfortunately was an idiot, a mad person. And they asked the mad person, who would be our new king? And he said very nicely, a melon. Thus, the melon was given the throne with due ceremony, and the town lived happily ever after without any interruption or interference. Children, if we understand the difficult words of this poem, which are just, it means based on or behaving according to what is morally right and fair. Placid, it means calm. Proclaimed means announced officially or publicly. Arch, a curved symmetrical structure spanning and opening and typically supporting the weight of a bridge, roof or wall above it. Triumphantly, that is triumphantly celebrating or commemorating a victory. Span means celebrating or commemorating a I think it's a little bit confusion here. Triumphantly means celebrating or commemorating a victory. Leave span. Span is the time gap. Thoroughfare, a main road in a town. Edify, to instruct or improve someone morally or intellectually. Spectators means onlookers. Frown, a facial expression indicating disapproval, displeasure, or concentration, characterized by a furrowing of one's brows. Gallows, a structure typically of two uprights and a crosspiece for the hanging of criminals. Halt, bring or come to an abrupt stop. Summon, order someone to be present. Masons, a person skilled in cutting, dressing, and laying stone in buildings. Quivering, quivering means trembling or shaking with a slight, rapid motion. Architect, a person who designs buildings and in many cases also supervises their construction. Ordain, ordain is some kind of official order. Amendments means minor change or addition designed to improve something. Saw it, became angry. Counsel, counsel means advice, especially that given formally. Quavering, quavering means of a person's voice, shake or tremble in speaking, typically through nervousness or emotion. Scaffold, scaffold means a raised wooden platform used formerly for the public execution of criminals. Mused, say to oneself in a thoughtful manner. Noose, a loop with a running knot, tightening as a rope of wire is pulled and used to trap animals or hang people. Decree, an official order that has the force of law. Unruly, disorderly, and disruptive, and not amenable to discipline or control. Means who does not follow discipline or who is indisciplined. Against the crown, questioning the power, integrity, and honesty of the state. Pondered, think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. Heralds, an official employed to oversee state ceremonial precedence and the use of armorial bearings, and historically to make proclamations, carry official messages, and oversee tournaments. Proclaim actually means announce officially or publicly. Reverently means with deep and solemn respect, reverence, respect. Seem to be well established there. Customary. According to the customs or usual practices associated with a particular society, place, or set of circumstances. Rejoice. Feel or show great joy or delight. Laissez faire. The policy of leaving things to take their own course without interfering. So these were the word meanings, children. Hope you understand all these, and the introduction and summary of the poem along with the poet Vikram Seth, a very notable and renowned person and a very well-known figure in the Indian literature. So that's all, children, in this video, and you'll be having a second part of the video for this poem, in which I'll explain about the line by line meaning of the poem. And till then, goodbye and thank you.